actually carried out geophysical survey in so many states in the country.
Politically, in 1987, that was when we do what you now call the zero-party election.
The things you use to earn money are there. It's just for you to know how to think of developing them.
Representing the people is you being a trophy of dividend of democracy to the people. The people are the beneficiaries.
The state now, the environment is quite friendly. The foundation has been laid for even foreign investors, other investors within the Nigerian economy to come in.
It's interesting to have you join us once more on your personality television program, Delta Scope, a program where we bring to you the good works of some social, economic, and political leaders who tend to display their achievements, their works, and of course, their achievement to the prosperity of Delta State and Nigeria at large. My name is Isioma Adigwe. Our media crew had the conversation with a living icon. He is the founder of the Nigerian's foremost environmental non-governmental organization, which is the fight against desert encroachment, FADE. His passion for environment has led to the rebirth of FADE Africa in 2000. You know, his latest project is a Nelson Mandela Garden multipurpose resort located within the Asaba International Airport here in Delta State. Let's meet our living icon, Dr. Newton Jibunoh, and hear what he has for us today. You know, you have such an enviable educational qualification. We also know you had a PhD at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University and of course Benin, and you've acquired series of certificates here home and abroad. We'd like you to share more about your educational journey.
Well, I've always believed in something that came to me during my teenage days, and that is that those that are able to accomplish great things must be dreamers and realists. And of course, that can only be acknowledged or accompanied by some call it education, but I call it learning. Learning about things around you, learning about things outside you, and the ability to explore. Those are all the things I grew up with, and especially in educating, using the word again, educating myself into learning. So and I don't think I have looked back because they have brought me some very good things.
So we were talking about your inspiration crossing the deserts. Mm-hmm. What was it? You know, you did it not once, twice, four times. Yeah. We were thinking it was twice, 4 times. You know, I would like you to share some inciting details on the whole process. You know, you never can tell.
Yeah, following on to what I said earlier on about learning, seeking education within and outside your perimeters. I had always wondered as a young man, why is it that those outside the shores of this land or outside the shores of the continent of Africa are those bringing in innovations and inventions to us. But I found out that, especially going to the scientific areas of life, I was able to kind of convince myself that that happened because we hardly think outside the box. We live within that comfort zone that sometimes we find it difficult to think outside. But growing up as a young man, because you just talked about crossing the Sahara Desert, I did it at age 27 in 1966. Because it was the 60s happens to be the era of the moon race and the space race. As a student, I wondered how come the same physics that those that are exploring and inventing, the same chemistry, the same mathematics, how come that they are the ones that do all these wonderful things, great innovations, and we don't follow suit, we just wait and until those things are dumped on us. We use them, and sometimes we use them better than they do. So it propelled me into thinking that's again referring to what I said earlier on, that those that accomplish great things are usually dreamers and realists. Um, so when I finished my studies in the UK in 1965, my plan was to become an explorer. And with the possibility of joining the race era of possibly going to the space and going to the moon, but I couldn't because of a number of constraints. So I decided to do it differently, and by driving my Volkswagen car all the way from London across the Sahara.
Wow.
Of course, across the Mediterranean to Nigeria, and that was in 1966.
And I can also remember you being called fondly the desert warrior.
Yes.
You know.
Desert warrior connotation came from, I was given an award in London, which with the title Desert Conqueror. Because before then it was almost impossible to drive. I may have been the first person to attempt such a feat.
Exactly.
They offered to award me the Desert Conqueror title. And in receiving the title, well, because of what I saw in the desert, because of what I experienced in the desert, I found that conquering the desert was going to be not a one-man's affair. So in my speech, I said I would rather be referred to as a desert warrior.
Okay.
Because it's like a war. To conquer the desert will take massive innovations. So they now changed my title from that of, I got the plaque all right, but they now started calling me the Desert Warrior as against the Desert Conqueror. Because if we are to conquer the desert, it will mean, I know something else you may be coming to later, which is something I started, the Desert Warrior Initiative.
No problem. In your quest to fighting desertification, how has it affected your life?
It has affected me in so many positive ways. In the sense that it took me to a point where I was always wondering about nature, about creation. Because during my first expedition, what I experienced in the desert, nothing on earth would have prepared me for it, even though it took me 6 months. So it kind of changed me in a way whereby I think I have dedicated a good part of my life to campaigning, to advocating, and to getting involved with anything to do with sustainable development. Because then and now, I have maintained that the continent of Africa will never become an emerging continent unless something was done to tame the Sahara Desert. So it's like I have given a good part of my life was fighting to bring about some kind of sustainable development, to do this Taming the Sahara Desert.
Wow. We celebrate World's Environment Day. Do you think Nigeria as a country has done enough?
Yes, thanks to United Nations, it's not just World Environment Day, it's the World Earth Day, it's the world, many global kind of initiative that United Nations has given us to celebrate, not just to celebrate, but to become aware that there is need for us to care for our environment, the need for us to care about the land we stand on, the need for us to care about the land where we are all going back to when we die. And are we doing enough to give back to the land what we get from it? No. We take so much from the land. The three most important components of life, the air we breathe, the food we eat, and even the water we drink, they all come from the land. And we keep taking and taking and taking. Then ask yourself, what do we give back to the land? Absolutely, the answer is minimum. So when you talk, which is also the reason for creating, making it like a global initiative to celebrate the environment, to celebrate the land. You know, we human beings are the tiniest of all the creatures that inhabit the planet. And yet we are the ones that are doing more destruction to the land, to the environment. This is not acceptable. Look at all the catastrophes that are happening around the world today. It's because of that. The land is fighting back because of what we have taken without giving anything back. All these tornadoes, all these hurricanes, all these floods, all these, even the dormant volcanoes erupting, bushfire, all those things are coming as a result of the little care and respect that we give to the land. Which is why you have that 5th of June event whereby most of the trees you see here, they are all planted during such events to celebrate, to give back to the land a little bit of what we have taken over the years, over the centuries. Because if we don't, I don't know where. And you know something? I suppose you know that of all the planets that are in the universe, planet Earth is our own. It's the only one with life.
Very true.
The rest don't have life. And so if we don't sustain that attempt to give back and then punish ourselves when we have done wrong, then the land is going to react.
That's true. We tend to play host to some of our social, economic, and political leaders, their achievements, their involvement, and of course their works to the development of Delta State and Nigeria at large. My name is Isioma Adigwe. Welcome to the biggest personality television program, Delta Scope. You're talking about the environment now. You, as the founder of Feed Africa, you have championed so many trees planting programs. How has it been going as regards its preservation?
I'm glad you asked that question because after my second expedition, I found out, or I was able to tell myself that that one needed to do a lot more, not just because the second expedition was mainly to take the campaign to a global stage
Oh,
and risking my life to do so. By the way, the first one was alone, second one alone, driving. So I decided to do a lot more, and I found out that I needed to acquire a little bit more education or knowledge or learning. And the information I got led me to going back to the university in Israel,
okay.
Ben Gurion University, to study the science of desertification. Why did I do that? Because I found that at the time I made my first expedition, Sahara was occupying only 1/5 of the entire land space of the continent. But at the time I went on my second expedition, the Sahara was occupying about 1/3 of the entire. So the whole place was expanding. The desert was encroaching, became very active and taking over lands. And the only place that was recommended to do was a place like Israel, because as you know, almost the whole land of Israel was taken from the Negev Desert. So they have a university there where they specialize in sciences that will enable you to combat the encroachment of the desert. So I went back to the university. And of course, it was one of the most memorable times of my life. And when I came back, I decided to start a pilot project in the north, in Dambata area of Kano. That is very close to the desert. It was given to me by the Kano state government because the whole area was completely devastated by the encroachment of the deserts. Farmland gone, grazing fields gone, water bodies gone from a community, and the community started migrating out. And I'm talking about 20-something, 30-something years ago. And that was when my campaign started. You can imagine today what we are experiencing with Fulani Henchmen.
That's true.
That is as a result of that. Taking over their grazing fields all over the north. What do? They migrate. They start looking for the next green belt where they can graze their animals. Anyway, so I started my pilot project in Nampata, a place called Makoda, Dambata area of Kano State. Using the Israeli experience and using the Israeli method. And you cannot believe it, in less than 4 years, I was able to restore the entire community. Even those that migrated out of the territory came back because of the fact that I was now able to restore greenery for their animals to graze on. I was able to restore the water bodies, and the farmland started springing up here and there. Do you know what the community did? They built me a house in just close to where I started the pilot project. Because I was living in a tent. There was nothing like a hotel or accommodation for me to. And when I go there to supervise with all those that are involved with.
So it's made it easier.
Yes. But they said you can. When they found out the person that I was, they decided, no, this man cannot be sleeping and living in a tent. And that was why